Some news stories. So Microsoft is added agentic AI to Windows 11, but only in like a beta version, and you have to turn it on, and they warn you that it's unsafe. And I was in a discussion on Mastodon about this. People are freaking out, but this is pretty common when you have a new feature. For example, if you try the new iOS on your iPhone, you'll see a similar warning from Apple saying, this might crash, you might lose all your data, you really shouldn't use this on your primary phone that you care about. So, presumably, hopefully, Microsoft will add more security rails to this as they go forward, although that will not be easy because currently there is no way. The number one threat of AI in your operating system, or for that matter in your browser, is that it takes data from an untrusted source and feeds it into an AI. Your browser browses web pages and you don't know what's on those web pages. And if it's in your operating system, it's reading emails and text messages and all kinds of things are coming in. And any of those can contain prompt injections that tell the AI to do something bad, like find your cryptocurrency keys or passwords and send them to a third party. And they have no good way of preventing that. Currently, the most common way they prevent that is by having another AI in front of it that tries to detect if the input is no good, but that AI can be fooled too. The other way to protect it, which would work, would be to lock it down so that it can't take any action that requires a login without you approving first, and it can't connect to network resources without you approving it first. And that would make it safer, but it would also make it very irritating to use and almost useless. So we'll see what Windows comes up with. Anyway, I think they're doing the right thing. They have a limited beta test to try to find out how well it works and how bad the risks are. VMware was bought by Broadcom about a year ago, and they multiplied the price by 10, making everyone very angry. But they said, in their estimation, the market research shows that the VMware had like 98% of the cloud market at that time. And they said, you're not charging enough. The market will bear much more. And that's largely true. Most companies put up with this huge price increase because VMware is so useful, but an increasing number of them have moved away. And Gartner's now recommending a lot of people moving away. So we'll see what comes of it. But Broadcom, I think, is just a ruthless capitalist company. And they said, there's more money to be extracted from this product. And that's what they're doing. If all you care about is money, then you should increase your price until your customers complain. It reminds me of Spirit Airlines. Everybody complained about how lousy Spirit Airlines was. And the owner said, yes, I know they love to complain that we charge for everything and that it's not very comfortable. But I know the only thing they care about is the price, because they complain and then they come back. All they want is a cheap price, and they're perfectly happy to have a lousy service to get a cheap price. That was his business model. So one of Trump's big accomplishments of his first term, as he presents it, is that he rehabilitated the Prince of Saudi Arabia. Now, the Prince of Saudi Arabia executed a Washington Post journalist and then lied about it. And then when pressed with overwhelming evidence that he had done it, he executed 4 of his own staff, blaming them for it. So it really is shockingly immoral and brutal. It's the sort of thing you'd expect to see in previous centuries in a more primitive and brutal time. And Biden campaigned saying he was going to make Saudi Arabia a pariah nation and make this guy a pariah. But then the price of oil went too high, and so he actually went to Saudi Arabia to try to ask for a favor from this guy, and this guy wouldn't give him any favors, of course, because he had established himself as the enemy of this prince. So you can't have it both ways. You can't take a high moral stand and say, we hate this guy because he's no good, and then go expect him to do you a favor. Trump took the opposite approach. Trump said, I'm going to make a favor out of this guy. I'm going to rehabilitate him. I'm going to bring him to America. I'm going to put golf tournaments in places and just make him rehabilitate his image. Now he's bringing him to America to rehabilitate his image. So once again, you can argue both sides. You can say from a moral point of view, this guy's a bad guy, he did a bad thing. A lot of people say, in fact, he's quite liberal and modern by the standards of Saudi Arabia, which is not saying all that much by American standards. Anyway, it looks like we are going to have a closer relationship with Saudi Arabia under Trump, which is what I'd expect. So Trump had made a media company, and the only product this media company has, I think, is Truth Social. And Truth Social, as I think everybody knows by now, is just basically Trump's blog. There's pretty much nobody there except Trump and perhaps some MAGA faithful, although lately they're all criticizing Trump very greatly on there. They're getting very mad as it really seems like Trump's star is fading. And Truth Social is essentially meme stock like all of Trump's stuff. You know, Trump actually had this unjustified reputation of being good at business, but all he is a celebrity. All he is like a TV star, and his only product has ever been a licensing deal, licensing to put his name on a building, his name on steaks, his name on a bottle of waters, all just that he's famous. And so his media empire, rather than producing like a bunch of TV shows that people want to watch, just produces a place where you can read Trump's tweets. And that's only popular among people that adore him. And as long as enough people adore him, then it goes up like a meme stock, but it doesn't have any actual basis, and so now it's crashed by 80%. I think Trump's star is really falling, especially in the last few weeks, largely over the Epstein thing, but people are also not happy with inflation and tariffs. And now some of us liberals are not happy with our absolutely illegal campaign of murdering random fishers in Venezuela by blowing up their boats. And we've had 2 nations refuse to do intelligence sharing with us anymore because what we're doing there is completely illegal and a war crime and could very well lead to people being tried at The Hague for war crimes after this is over. And Trump has had his admiral resign because he cannot obey the orders to blow up those boats. So that's bad, but I don't think the MAGA faithful care about that. Anyway, but they do really care about the Epstein files. Apparently, a lot of people actually believe the QAnon nonsense that the Democrats were running a pedophile ring and Trump was your savior because he was going to do something about it. And now it's clear that Trump was deeply involved in the pedophile ring, at least in the money laundering side, and to some extent has been accused by at least one victim of raping her when she was 13 years old. So he seemed to be participating in a lot of the pedophile sex slave trade, which is what Jeffrey Epstein did. And I think a lot of his supporters are not happy with that. They really cared about that issue, and they really thought they were on the right side of it, and they're discovering they were on the wrong side of it. So Trump is going down. I've heard Kara Swisher, her opinion is interesting. She thinks he's not going to finish his term. I wonder. And a lot of people say he's showing serious signs of dementia, too. I think he might just step down as his popularity fades and his health is going down, and he thinks to himself, you know, why do I do this? He could just go play golf in Mar-a-Lago. Anyway, and what's amazing is Marjorie Taylor Greene, 3 famous Republican women, total supporters of Donald Trump, have all turned against him in various ways. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the most famous, but also Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert have all turned against him in the last few weeks, primarily over the Epstein files, but also over his reversals on his America First policies. Now he wants to let in 600,000 Chinese students to study here, to prop up the universities, which is what we used to do, take in a lot of foreign students. It paid for a lot of our universities, but that's the kind of thing Trump said he was going to choke off. And now he wants to let a whole bunch of people in on H-1B visas. So it's revealing the fact that he doesn't actually have any principles. What he does is he pleases the people he supports, and the people he supports is billionaires. People that have paid $1 million a year to get into Mar-a-Lago to rent the ear of the president. They tell him what billionaires want, and billionaires, of course, want cheap workers from overseas to replace American workers and the college. And so Trump will do whatever they want, and all of his pretense to actually caring about common people and help them is all garbage. And I think an increasing number of them are figuring that out. Like he never has done anything about grocery prices, and that's what he ran on. So anyway, I think Trump's star is fading, and I think he's already becoming almost irrelevant. And soon I think he'll lose power a lot. So 404 made a big deal out of this app. I'm not quite sure what to think of it. What's interesting about this app is not only does it, you're already license plate readers all over the place, flock cameras reporting where all the cars are, but people can carry a smartphone. They can take photographs if they have to be law enforcement, and it updates so they can use phone cameras to catch extra pictures of license plates all over the place. And the point is now they know where everybody is. If you remember the first or second Batman movie, he wanted to find a bad guy, and he turned on something to track every cell phone in like Gotham City in this fictional story. And his butler was so morally horrified, he said, if you ever do this again, I'll leave. this current emergency justifies it, but you can't just be tracking where everybody is all the time. That's an outrageous invasion of privacy. But that's what we're doing now. Apple and Google are doing it with cell phones, and the cops are doing it with license plate readers. And this may lead to no end of abuse, I think. It's a large privacy invasion. Of course, you probably could catch some criminals and stuff with it, too. That's always the case. I mean, if you knew what everybody was doing all the time, you could punish a lot more crime, but also people wouldn't have any freedom. So X, the replacement of Twitter, is going to keep track of whether you're coming in with a VPN and put this somewhere on the profile. And what they say is they're trying to do something about all the bots. This is something Elon Musk has been complaining about since before he bought Twitter. There's a ton of inauthentic traffic on Twitter from organized political groups and other groups just flooding the zone. Like, I don't know, if you say anything political, you immediately get Russian bots will start replying with Russian talking points and such. So anyway, maybe it will help people identify the bots. If people coming through VPNs are more likely to be bots, I suppose that's true. It's an interesting technique. We'll see if it works. And yes. So this, Trump just said he was going to investigate 4 Democrats for being in the Epstein files, which seems to be part of his latest spin. Now, he tried for all of his term so far to say there's nothing in the Epstein files and deny releasing them. Now he's reversed course and said, okay, we can release them, but we're going to have an investigation of just the Democrats in there, not the Republicans. And what I expect is the reason for that investigation is happening is so he will then say, no, I can't release them because they're part of an investigation. But anyway, Larry Summers is one of the 4 people I mentioned, and he has stepped back. He apparently was the Treasury Secretary, and he's a professor at Harvard. And he has stepped down from his public role. He's still going to teach his class at Harvard, but he's stepping down from some of his public roles. This reminds me of the prince in Britain. Prince Edward, was it? I've forgotten his name. The guy that was a prince in Britain was accused of raping underage girls and actually stepped down. He lost his title of prince and such. So this is some degree of punishment for these people. So it's interesting. The humiliation has affected Larry Summers. So we'll see. There may actually be some sanction for some of this. Anyway, let me stop this.